Howdy once again, it's Tubal Cain and welcome back to my channel, my videos, and my warm workshop. Now in another video I am basically restoring this vise, but what I'm going to show you now is kind of a branch off from that, so that's why I made it into a separate video. And I've told you that for several years here I've had the Pro Stop Vise Stop is what it is. Well, and I never have used it because this is designed to be used on Kurt type vices that are drilled for that. And if you watch my other video, you know that I got this vise recently and somebody had milled this off. I was going to do that, but it already has been done, but there weren't any holes drilled in there, and the hole patterns here do not match up with these holes. So I decided to use these two holes here, which are 2.1 inches on center, and I have already located two holes, and that will be bolted on just like that. This of course swings. I'll show you that after it's done, but it's going to go on there just like that. This is a 6-inch vise, and this is the 6-inch Pro Stop. They sell it in I think 3 different sizes. It came with hardware, so I got the bolts, and it seems like a little overkill. These are half 13, but I'm going to drill 27/64, I believe it is, and tap those half 13. And I'm going to do that on the milling machine, and that's what this video really is all about. So I've located this center line here from a transfer punch just to aid me, and it really isn't very critical at all. Just doesn't matter at all, but that's how I located it. And then the 2.1 spaced in there so that the distance here is equal to this distance. You've seen my drill presses, and you know they're smaller drill presses, which we call sensitive drills. Imagine putting this 35-pound casting on that table and dropping the table down near to the floor, and then what would I fasten this to? I'd have to have some kind of huge angle plate in order to drill these two holes. That's why I'm going to do it on the milling machine, and I'm going to use that right angle head that I showed you how to mount it in the last video. I know I'm referring to a lot of videos here, but I have a lot of videos, and I try not to duplicate some of that information. And there's that lovely handle I always talk about on Bridgeport vices. And now nobody likes these Bridgeport vices because of the Kurt angle lock type vices that exert that downward pressure. So let's take this over to the milling machine, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to set it up. And really, the setup and talking about it takes a lot longer than just drilling a couple holes and tapping them, because this is really a rather simple operation. And I suppose I could do it on one of the drill presses, but I've been dying to use this right angle drive anyway, so this is my opportunity, and I guess yours as well. I'll see you at the Bridgeport momentarily. Well, here's the setup. The right angle drive is already mounted as per last video. Notice the Bridgeport is way down the end there, and it's in the last channel here for T-slots because I need room to put another clamp right here where my hand is. So this will be the main clamp, but the first thing I'm going to do is to square up the vise on the table. And I'm going to do that by 2 methods, although it really isn't that critical. I don't know why I'm wasting this much time on it, but I'm just going to do it with a square to start with, and then I think I'll use the indicator just to verify and show you how close you can get with a square. The largest square that I have is just a 12-inch combination square, but I think it will do. And the whole idea here is I'm setting the blade across the dovetails here, like that, pressing it up against the dovetails and bringing it in. And I've already swung the vise back and forth until I thought that I got it pretty well squared up, and now I will, well, I won't tighten these yet. I won't tighten the front clamp or this until after I run an indicator over it, and if it's within 5 thousandths, it's really good enough. You know what, I've been dying to use my new Noga indicator given to me by KBC Tools, so this is just the inaugural occasion for that. And let me get her down there. I am zeroed out already. And if it'll stay in focus, it's set at 0. And as I came across in a 6-inch distance, it is 3 thousandths. So that's, as I told you, certainly close enough. And that was done with the square. So using a good square and just being careful, you can get it pretty darn close. And that is close enough. Now I will tighten this clamp as well as the other one. I thought I might have to swing it a little bit, but now the work is held firmly and I'm ready to drill. As you know, if you follow my videos, I like to lay my tools out, and I've already got a wiggler in the chuck, and then I'll go in, after I locate the first hole, then I'll use this 3/16, 1 inch deep, then the 27/64, that's the tap drill size, then a tapered tap, a plug tap, and I will use a tap follower. I will not be able to power tap. I wish I could, because I'm not using the quill. There is no quill on this, so I would have to feed with the longitudinal feed, and that would not match with the thread on here, if you understand what I mean. Maybe you don't. Anyway, I can't power thread. By the way, I'm drilling and tapping cast irons, no lubrication needed. I think you've seen me do cast iron before. I will locate the first hole with the wiggler, and at that point I will zero out the digital readout, and I will spot that hole, and then I'll move to the next one, and remember that it's 2.100 to the next hole, and I'll spot that, and I think I'll move back and forth rather than make a tool change each time, but I suppose it's a 50-50 proposition. But I am using the digital readout, which will not be in the video view. Alright, I'm located on the first hole, and I zeroed out the digital readout, and I'm ready to drill. I wasn't going to use a spotting bit, but I decided to after all. No sense chancing it. Boy, I've been changing my mind a lot lately, but it's my football. So this is a 1/4 inch instead of 3/16, and I just marked it with the Sharpie, which is about 1.25 inches deep, so I don't have to deal with a shallow blind hole. And now the 27/64. Be sure and wear your safety glasses when you work in your machine shop. I'm sure when I started this video, some of you thought, well, what's that fool doing with his milling machine vise way down the end, hanging over here? Well, this is a 32-inch table. I wish I had a longer table, but you can see now that I'm all the way, virtually all the way to the end of the travel of the table here, because this offset, or this 90-degree head, along with a chuck, and then the tap follower, and the tap wrench, and the tap, you know, we got really what amounts to about 1 foot there sticking out from the actual R8 collet. And now I'm ready to finally tap the hole. This is the tapered tap, 1/2 13. And there's not a whole lot of clearance right here. And then over to the other hole. And I'll use the plug tap later when I can use a bigger tap wrench. I'll swing the work around to make it a little bit easier. Right there. Lock the table. The vise is locked down with one bolt here, you can't see it. And now I can finish off these two holes with the plug tap and a decent sized tap wrench that affords some leverage, and there will be no need to use a bottoming tap because I drilled the holes deep enough so that will not be necessary. So when this hits the bottom, it's going to be plenty deep. That's so much better than using that little, there it hit the bottom, that little T-handle tap wrench. Alright, let's see if the holes line up. You know they will. Not like it's some big surprise, huh? Yes, and then if I ever want to extend this out a little bit, I will have to re-drill one hole in this stop, in this anodized piece. I love that color. I think I mentioned Edge Technology as one of my sponsors, so again, thanks to them. If you ever order from them, tell them Groucho sent you. So, this is how it works. You probably know that, but we can snug this up, and then this will move back and forth wherever you want it. And the rod, the stop rod, in and out anywhere you want it, and tighten it. And there is a set screw on the bottom as well, so that goes back and forth. And of course, visualize the jaw here when this is assembled and the work coming up against that for repeatability. They also make one of these that has a stop on both sides, so that's pretty awesome. So that concludes this video on the mounting of the Pro Stop on the Bridgeport vise. Now there are several other videos in this series about this Bridgeport vise and me rebuilding it, restoring it, whatever, so be sure and watch them all. Thanks for watching this video, and this is Tubal-Cain saying so long for now, and I'll see you next time.